Kia ora, y'all! Welcome to the latest video. In this one, as you can see from the title down there, I expect you to read these things too. I'm not going to hold your hand. This video is about the 5 most annoying kinds of customers in fast food. Now, I was stuck in a fast food job for a long amount of time, and it really sucked. I cannot tell you what kind of a god-awful place fast food restaurants are to work in. I empathise with everybody stuck there to the point where I just try and be as polite as humanly possible to the people working at these places. Now, in honour of the movie that inspired me to make this rant and possibly help contribute even further to my disgruntled employee status, that would be Clerks, my countdown's going to be in black and white. This and the countdown frames are going to be in colour. The ranting itself's going to be in black and white. And just because I want to do something different, I want an excuse to test out the some of the features on Windows Movie Maker. Sure, enjoy the countdown. 5. So I know it's considered politically incorrect to make fun of the obese these days, but when you're working in fast food, sometimes you just see people waddle through the door that you take one look at and think, fuck it, I'm not to blame if this cunt suffers a heart attack. Seriously. You'll see some fat dude or dudette walk through the door who really shouldn't be at a fast food place. Not to be judgmental, but with some of them, the orders they put in are ridiculous. We used to have this one kid who'd come through drive-thru every, let's see, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Saturday morning, Sunday night without fail. And he would always order about $30 worth of food. And this guy was a big unit, and over the years I worked there, I got to be a witness to him getting progressively bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was not a pretty sight. I had this one incident with a dude who came in with his family, and his mother was a pretty big, stocky, wide unit herself. So they ordered a big bucket, sat down, ate their meal. They get down to the bottom, and we used to use this grease paper. I don't know if K-Fries still uses it. They're doing this whole environmentally conscious bullshit. But we had this bit of grease paper at the bottom of the bucket. This dude walks up, gets right in my grill and goes, "Have you seen the amount of fat in this chicken? That woman's got a heart condition. Do you want her to have a heart attack, mate?" And I'm just standing there like, this shit's deep fried, Nimrod. Like, thinking it, not saying it, obviously. But just thinking like, dude, the shit's deep fried. What are you doing bringing a woman that big in here anyway if she's got a heart condition? This is literally the worst place to bring someone obese with a heart condition. This shit is literally heart attack central. The Double Down was basically a heart attack sandwich, for fuck's sakes. And then you get the ones that add a diet drink onto their order because they're trying to watch their weight. Yeah, I feel you had too much weight to watch, so I wouldn't bet on it. 4. Now this one ain't just a fast food exclusive. Those people that come into a place and try and tell the staff how to do their jobs like they know the shit better than they do. I had many arguments with people that used to think they knew my job better than I did. They would tell me how stuff should be packed, how stuff should be put together, what comes with what meal, how much is how much, and they were usually wrong. They used to use the whole "I'm the customer and I'm always right" excuse, which doesn't count in cases of you're clearly wrong, you are factually wrong, and here's something to back you up. I had this one dude come in and start arguing with me over the contents of a meal at the drive-thru window. I walked over, grabbed him a menu, showed him, pointed it out. No sir, kiss me ass or nothing, he just drove off. You know, proven wrong, went red, embarrassed, drove off. Didn't stop him, he'd constantly try and argue with people whenever he'd come in. But yeah, you get those people. It's a shitty dead-end job, but I knew the job. I was good at my job. I hated my job and I was a pain in the ass to work with, but I was good at my job. Just because you come into a shithole on a regular basis, or you watch a report on the news that tells you about how a place is run, doesn't make you an expert. Until you have suffered through the torment, you don't know what you're talking about. Capiche? pull your head in. 3. Ugh, these people were the worst when you were stuck doing restaurant. On a closing shift, you would have 2 people that were 2 workers other than the supervisor or the cook at KFC. You'd have one person doing the dishes, which is all the trays, potato and gravy, holders, whatever. The other person would get the unfortunate duty of having to clean all around the back area, and in the restaurant, and in the toilets. And you wouldn't be allowed to go home until everything was done. You see, KFC in Paraparaumu has a closing time of 10 o'clock, but usually you wouldn't get out till about 10:30, 10:45, depending on how quickly everybody got their shit done. And if you're on restaurant cleaning duty, that was usually dependent on how many customers you had in, how long they sat in, and when they fucked off. And what was fucking annoying is you would be looking forward to being able to lock those doors, not have to suffer through any more customers, and finally get to finish up your cleaning when 5 to 10 minutes to go, someone waddles in. They order their meal. You ask them, is it have there or takeaway, because you're dreading it because it's a family meal. I'll eat it here. No! That's the worst, honestly. I'm well aware that a closing time is just at a closing time and they're allowed to stay there until the store is explicitly closed. But it's very frustrating knowing that these people are single-handedly responsible for keeping you there longer than you want to be. People in fast food restaurants have homes to go to. It's bad enough they have to keep serving you up until that time that you're at that place that late anyway. But then you plonk your fat date down and munch on your meal with your family and hang around. And you are personally preventing that person from finishing their cleanup and going home. You are the bane of their existence. It's even worse if they've already cleaned the restaurant and you just went and fucked it up again. Thanks. Thanks for nothing. And now I'm having flashbacks. Great. 2. Oh, here's a good one. Combative whiners. Much like the I know your job better sorts, these types of people are absolutely frustrating and will not be told anything. They will ring in, they will complain. They will stand there, they will complain. They will argue with you, they will complain. They will ask to see your manager and they will complain. They gain a reputation of being complainers. Now I understand if you're missing something from your meal complaining or what have you. I understand if someone's being a little asshole towards you complaining. But when you are literally complaining about everything, from trying to get a one-up on some little kid in a shit job, earning minimum wage about a sign typo, or you're trying to piss, bitch and moan about how, say, they've got Mountain Dew Live Wire, not Mirinda Orange or whatever, then you're just being a whiny dick. And even silly shit like the size of the chicken or whatever that the staff can't help. People who whine and piss and bitch and moan about literally everything in a fast food place, yet continue to come back, are fucking annoying. We would have customers who would come in and people would avoid serving them if they could because they knew that this customer was going to whine about something, but they would always come back. The worst kind of customer is a technically right customer. Yes, they're right, but they could be less of an asshole about things. There are specifics that I couldn't name off the top of my head, and it's not a very good job, but I think if you've worked on this type of job, you understand the type of person I'm talking about. They split hairs about literally everything. If there is something they can complain about, they will complain about it. They order a plain gravy, the thing's not full enough, they'll shove it back in your face. They order some chips, the box isn't full enough for liking, they'll shove it back in your face. There's not enough seasoning, they'll bitch and try and get a freebie out of it. The chicken is missing a little bit of skin or something, then they will, okay, stupid example because yeah, that's fair enough to complain about. What's another example? Well, you get the general gist. If it's a tiny, minute, little ridiculous thing they can piss and moan and whine about and get on someone about, they will, and they are honestly irritating. They're everywhere, they're in every job, but in fast food you can't just let someone else deal with it. That's what makes it even worse. You get a lot of these people in fast food, and they're usually soccer mums. You know the kind when I say soccer mums. So, just think the most stereotypical soccer mum you can imagine. Now imagine her being twice as big and at a KFC, and you've usually got this type of person. They're grating. They're one of the worst parts of fast food. Actually, as a matter of fact, they're the second worst part about fast food. So there you go. 1. Fast food is a shitty, horrendous, horrible, terrible, mortifying, undignifying, terrible, hideous, poor, underpaid, crappy, hell-like experience. It is a brutal job that I would not wish upon my worst enemy. So it gets even more exacerbatingly worse when you have to deal with really, really rude customers. Between obnoxious hood rats wanting free hookups, abusive hood rats trying to be funny knowing you can't tell them to go fuck themselves back, fat guys that snap at you and act all entitled and shit, soccer mums whining. Yeah, I know I covered that in the last one, shut your face. People who talk to you like you're a servant, not a person in a job. The list goes on. Fast food carries a stigma with it that you're just some brain-dead dropkick with no brain activity working in it. Some of the supervisors I had at KFC were definitely a fair example of this, and they very much lived up to the stereotype. But by the same token, some of the people I worked with were actually pretty smart and didn't deserve that treatment. I, for one, used to get very, very annoyed with it. I would snap back if people ever acted like I was an idiot with zero intelligence in fast food. You get people that act entitled because they're the customer. They act like because they're the customer, all of a sudden manners don't count for them. They will snap at you. They will demand things. It won't be, excuse me, can I please have a 2-piece quarter pack? It will be, give me a 2-piece quarter pack with extra seasoning, and I want that done as fast and I want it done as soon as. No manners, no politeness, whatever. Just demand, demand, demand. Fast food is a real prick for this shit. And again, anybody who works in fast food knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's hard to name examples off the top of my head. I probably should have thought a few more examples up before I actually bothered to record this, but you know, if you've worked in fast food, you get... Actually, if you've worked in any job involving customers, you get what a rude customer is. In fast food, they are absolutely terrible. In retail, you can go get your manager and get this person kicked out or whatever. Or you can just walk away. If you work in a supermarket, you can just walk back, walk into the safe confines of your department behind that godly, wonderful plastic shield that is a staff-only door. In fast food, you can't run, you can't hide, and you can't break on through to the other side. There is no escape from these scumbags. They are just simply the worst, because you have to sit back with the biggest, nicest, politest, can I help you, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir smile on your face. Rude customers are a burden. They are the worst part of a fast food job. Customers in general are the worst part of a fast food job, but rude ones take the cake, more so than any other kind. They make number 1 on this list for being every fast food worker's nightmare, especially if you're just some scared teenage kid fronting off with this big fat dude breathing in your face. Absolutely horrendous, bro. Terrible. So, there you have it. There's my countdown. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, recommend it to any fast food workers you may know. See what they think. Feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel. I'm Damien Skyfire. Till next time.